This is the Global Broadcasting Service, serving remote outposts since 1928.
Hi, everyone. Welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Express monorail.
Caramba, we have something really big for you today.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
This is the DBC Pod with Phil Schoen and Jason Dodge. Hi, friends. Welcome to this week's pod. This is the show for the week of June 2nd, 2025. Happy June. Is it technically summer now? It's not technically summer yet.
No, I don't think so. It's later this month it turns technically summer, but it's unofficially summer because we've passed Memorial Day.
Yes.
So.
It's still in the 60s by me. High 60s, but it's still in the 60s.
Same here. It's supposed to warm up later this week, but it's been not summerish feeling at all here.
No, absolutely not. So, Phil, I think this is the first time that we haven't done a podcast in like 3 weeks. Right? Recorded. So if everybody remembers, we didn't have a show last week because of Memorial Day. We took the holiday off. A week prior to that was our trip report episode that we recorded a week before that. So we doubled up with Matt. So we haven't sat down and been podcasters for almost a month now.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of weird, right? So we were saying this before the show that it feels like a lot's happened and like nothing's happened, because for 3 weeks, Phil, we're just regular Disney fans. We absorbed information. We didn't have to have any hot takes about it other than what we read in social media or talked to each other about. And then we moved on. So now we have to essentially assemble all the news from the last 3 weeks. So this is old news to a lot of you out there, but you get to hear our opinions on all of that. But first, before we get started, we want to welcome back Ashtastic to the Discord server. Thanks for coming back. A member from a few years ago, and they popped back on, so we really appreciate that. And then social media, make sure you jump on Discord. Come back if you haven't been on for a while, or hop into the conversation. All the different social media at the DBC Pod. Make sure you like and subscribe and all the other fun stuff. If you're watching on YouTube right now, just scroll a little bit and hit the like button, leave a comment. We really do appreciate that. So, first week, we normally label this last week in Disney, but Phil, I think this week is the last 3 weeks in Disney.
Yeah.
So what do we got here?
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on, and it was interesting kind of trying to cultivate everything where I'm like, wait, am I going back far enough? Does this still, wait, when was the last thing we actually did cover? But before we get into the news, I did want to make a quick note that now that we are starting June, which is Pride Month, this is the month when the Park Stop always has their Stop Hate fundraiser, which raises money for the Trevor Project, and it's all organized by Alicia Stella's group Park Stop and stuff like that. And they have some really cool art that is done just for this, and all the proceeds go to the Trevor Project. And I picked up a few pieces yesterday or Sunday when they went on sale. And yeah, there's still a bunch out there, and you can get stickers and stuff like that. So I just thought I'd put a note out there that if it's something that you might want to, and everything's like I think the most expensive art print's like $30 or something. It's all like,
it's not crazy.
Yeah. So you can pick up some cool things for a reasonable price for a good cost. So I just thought I've tweeted it out and stuff like that, but I thought I'd mention it at the top of the show.
Awesome.
But first news thing, there was some breaking news that happened right before we got on. There's a report that Disney is cracking down on DVC owners who are frequently renting out their points. So they're basically saying there's a new like checkbox you have to check when you're going to use your points, and something basically saying I'm using this for my personal use, not for like commercial use to rent it out and sell the points to somebody else. So it just happened. We don't really know what the fallout's going to be. But obviously that's a big thing for a lot of people to rent out their points, and there's all the different rental sites that you use and stuff like that. So they might be freaking out a little bit right now, but I don't know.
I remember hearing something, and this is a while back. I don't know where I read it or heard it or whatever, but there's a lot of people out there that buy lots of contracts and then just resell them all the time, like as a commercial use, right? And I think that's what Disney's cracking down on. I mean, if you are a family and you're not using your points this year and you want to rent them out and you go through a broker, I don't think Disney's cracking down on that. It's somebody that has like a dozen, 2 dozen contracts. I mean, I could be completely wrong, right? I'm not tied into DVC, but I think there's people that do that are behind these rental sites, and they make a tidy profit off of it over the years. And I don't think Disney wants that sort of thing. They don't want a commercial renting.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Right? Yeah, exactly. And then it is sort of competing with them renting rooms, when you can go and get it cheaper, for bigger accommodations and stuff like that. But it did seem like the the focus is on people that are maybe frequently doing this, like you said, more commercial enterprises where they buy a bunch of contracts and just rent them all out. It's probably not going to be an issue for people to rent out a week here or there or something like that. But just interesting to see what the fallout's going to be from this.
I mean, I have zero idea how what percentage of these contracts are like at the DVC rental store or the other ones that you see. Is that 30% of them? Because if it is, that's going to be difficult to find rental points on those kind of brokers.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what the marketplace is going to be. There's a couple really good DVC podcasts out there. I'm pretty sure they're going to be a lot more up to date on the stuff that we're rambling on because we're not DVC members. But
I know as somebody who's using
use them.
I'm using them. First week of August when I go down with my daughter, we rented points and stuff like that. I'm assuming it's not going to be a problem when I show up and they realize I'm not the person that rented it out, but I guess we'll see. So always some excitement. But the big news that happened over the past week or so is that Disney did release a debut date, for Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away, the new nighttime parade that is going to happen on the Magic Kingdom. The debut date will be Sunday, July 20th. And they also released information on some merchandise related to that, including interactive bubble wands that I guess will change color as the parade goes by and stuff like that. They showed a little snippet of the original music that's from that, which sounds quite nice. Not as popish as like Paint the Night, a little bit more orchestral. And they did also announce that there will be restrictions on pass holders starting on July 20th, where you are going to need to have a park reservation if you want to go to the Magic Kingdom to see that. So right now, normally, other than weekends at the Magic Kingdom, if it's after 2 p.m., you can just show up at a park and hop or whatever. But now you're going to have a reservation if you want to go to the Magic Kingdom, either for the Magic Kingdom or somewhere else, and then hop over to Magic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. But obviously they're thinking this is going to bring in quite the crowds, and they want to have some control over that it's not just a million pass holders showing up unannounced. So
I mean, I'm not a local annual pass holder for Disney World, and I know they're a very sensitive bunch when you bring up some of these things. I think this is quite a reasonable thing to ask people. Like, if this goes on for more than 2 or 3 weeks, I'd be surprised. But first time Disney World or Magic Kingdom's had a nighttime parade in 12 years?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. 2014, 2013, something like that. Yeah. And that the locals if there were no restrictions, they would just show up in droves to see it and then kind of like leave. Yeah. But I think that's kind of preventing that. So I am heading down, literally, I'll be driving down to Disney World this Sunday it comes out. So I was really holding my breath. I was getting very nervous, right? Like one of the things I was looking forward to this trip was like a lot of like the summer kind of entertainment, the new shows at Hollywood Studios, which we'll be talking about in just a second. But this parade, I was super stoked about it. And I was always kind of like overly confident that it was going to be. I'm like, of course it's going to be there. It's a summer thing, of course. But they were really cutting it close to my vacation 2 days before our check-in date. So I don't know if this is going to impact how I'm going to be seeing the show, because it's still going to be relatively, it's going to be very new to everybody that's there. I'm not going to know where to line up. I'm not going to know like the times, how the crowds are handled, how crowded it is because of locals and guests. So I'm kind of nervous, but I'm like, it's kind of exciting to be one of the first tens of thousands of people that see it, I guess, right? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, but I mean, my heart goes out to some of the folks on Discord that are just leaving, going a couple weeks before that. That really stinks. But I was hoping that Disney would have this out by middle of this month, but I guess time was not on our side.
Supposedly it was they hoped it would be ready sooner, around July 6th or something like that. We knew that was the speculation date, but it seems like there were some challenges getting it across the finish line or whatever. So the 20th is now when it's going to be. So they have confidence it'll be ready by then. We still don't have details on, because they haven't released the schedule yet, if it's only going to be one time a day or 2 nights or 2 times a night. I'm assuming it'll be two times, because especially once you get into the holiday parties, it's only going to be like 3 or 4 days a week, and you can't, people are going to want to watch this. You kind of have to have it at least twice. And then also no word on like dining packages or dessert parties or anything like that. But I guess we'll see if any of that comes.
My big question is, where does this parade start? Right? Is it going to be Main Street, or is it going to be Frontierland? Yeah. And, I was reading, I never saw the previous nighttime parade, but it went up Main Street and finished in Frontierland, which I think is a smart way to do it operationally, because you don't want people that are trying to leave the park walking slowly behind it with a massive amount of people. So I don't know. I'll definitely be listening in on social media on the 20th and 21st to kind of figure that out.
I know the little write up on the page for it and the app or on my Disney Experience. It says the wording of from Frontierland to.
Oh, does it?
But that could also just mean like it'll be, if you're anywhere from Frontierland to Main Street, you'll see it. Like that's where it travels. But it does say from Frontierland up to down Main Street. So
where would you line up to watch this then? I know you're not a big parade guy, but
I'm
nighttime parades.
I'm much more into nighttime parades. I don't know. I think I want to watch it from Main Street. I think I want to see it from there and see what they're doing with any other projections and anything like that. But just because it's been so long since we've had one, and for the first time, I think I'd want to watch it from Main Street. So I'd just probably line up early.
I'm with you on that, but for my wife that doesn't like crowds, that kind of terrifies me because it's going to be a crush of humanity.
Oh yeah,
and it's going to be tough. So I don't know. Like if you couldn't do it Main Street, where would you line up to watch it then? Is it kind of like Liberty Square-ish, kind of leading towards Main Street, or would you try to catch?
I think if I'm not doing Main Street, I'd probably do closer to where it's starting. Like sort of on like that boardwalk that's like kind of in front of the Rivers of America, somewhere around there. And
where we watched Festival of the Fantasy
exactly.
Parade together.
Yeah, I think I would do that if I'm not doing Main Street.
I like it.
So we'll see. Obviously, a lot of excitement. I'll be down. Fortunately, first week August will be good to see that, and we'll just see how it goes. And hopefully that they went through, excuse me, the lineup of floats, and it seems like a good lineup of different characters. A lot of newer ones, but that they're mixing in some of the classics as well and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes.
I can't wait to find out what people are going to complain about on this parade everywhere. I think it's going to look awesome, assuming it all works right. There's no major catastrophes with the equipment, but I think it's going to look great. I love the idea of an softer music tone and not like loud poppy dance music, because at that time of the night, that just kind of eases you into like the music of Happily Ever After, assuming you're watching it prior to the fireworks, and it's just so nice. I just hope, as this is being debuted, that it's dark enough when I try to watch it, and the concrete is not burning hot as we try to sit down on it. That's going to be an issue. Yeah,
and I'm going to be fascinated to watch how Park Ops is able to pull it off with the parade, assuming it's before and after. But I mean, just how crowded the hub is just for Happily Ever After, and it's been years since there's probably not a lot of cast members there that were there the last time that they had a night. So obviously they know what they're doing. They'll do the best they can, but it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, it's going to be a little rough. So speaking of new things, though, the new shows at Hollywood Studios have premiered, both The Little Mermaid: A Musical Adventure and also Villains: Unfairly Ever After. Obviously there was, did we mention on the show last time that there was like kind of the preview of the villains, and there were some kind of people like a little like, I don't know, it looks a little.
No, that was like last week.
Was it? Yeah. Okay. So see, I can't remember what we talked about. But it seemed just because when they showed the previews, there weren't a lot of like dancers and things like that. It was kind of like all the screens and then just one villain and then the next villain and the next villain. And from what I've heard of, it seems a little mixed reviews on the villain. Some people like it. They're impressed by the staging and the screens and stuff like that, but do feel it's a little empty, and maybe the whole kind of concept and plot didn't really pull through. But on the flip side, sorry, go ahead.
No, go. No, I was just saying, let's before we go to Mermaid, let's stay on villains, because this is where there's controversy. Yeah, there's takes on it. So right before it officially launches, like the day before or something, there was video out there of the whole show. And there's people like, this is people just watching online. This is terrible. It looks empty and all this other type of stuff. I personally don't judge shows until I actually see them in person. Though I did have the initial take like, the stage does look kind of empty. But everybody that has seen it on Discord or even, the owner of WDW Magic says you got to be there to really kind of get enveloped on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that I've seen that actually has seen it liked it quite a bit. What were you going to say? I interrupted you though.
So I was going to say, from what I've read, it seems a little mixed. Like it's definitely more positive than the people that just watch the video, but still I think there is some takeaways that like, it doesn't fully work and it could be fleshed out a little bit more, but that, some people do seem to really like it and that sort of thing. I will admit I've been biased sort of against it since the concept. And I don't think anything I've seen is enough to change my mind. I'm certainly willing to give it a shot if, next time we're in Hollywood Studios, and it's assuming it's still going, I will want to see it. The staging alone seems pretty impressive with all the different screens and stuff like that. But we'll see. But on the flip side, the Little Mermaid, a musical.
Well, one more second.
Okay.
I have one more hot take
sorry.
on villains. Yeah. So everybody's going nuts, and I had this discussion online already, and I'm trying to collect my thoughts on how to order this here. So context matters when you start judging these offerings, right? And the same conversation is going to happen with the Coolkid Summer at Core Hall also, right? So 5 years ago, this building was empty, right? It was for parties or short-term shows, that sort of thing. And then we had Racing Academy in there. It was a single animatronic, put on a show for 10 minutes, pretty lame, or it was just kind of like whatever. It was, awesome animatronic, but the show itself wasn't anything to write home about, right? It was a good thing to do for 10 to 15 minutes where older kids were on Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, that sort of thing. And then this show came in and replaced it, right? So this is definitely an upgrade over a single animatronic show where you sat on benches, right? For 10 minutes. So when people judge these things, I think people need to consider what it was replacing, what it's meant to do, and judge accordingly. Now, could they have hired 10 dancers to come in and out of the stage and make a big whole stage presentation out of it? Yes. But that type of show, in my opinion, was probably something that would replace Beauty and the Beast in a much bigger theater, much bigger stage production. I think people had their expectations of this were probably too high as far as production value and what they were getting out of it. From what everybody says, the screens and the stage is very impressive. I don't think anybody disagrees on that for the most part. But it's light on the acting. It says 3 actors and they come in and out. And personally, I think this is much better than what we had just from a preliminary viewing online. And I never really expected like a Broadway show to be in here, right? So I think we have to judge accordingly. That's basically what I'm saying.
No, I think that's fair. I think people had their like you said, expectations maybe not just too high, but just for something that it isn't. I think people were expecting more of a musical production and that sort of thing, and it isn't that. It's just the villain coming out, and that's kind of it. So, yeah, I think if you went in like not knowing anything or not expecting anything, maybe you'd be more okay with it. But it is what it is. But at the same time, it's a brand new show. There's new entertainment that wasn't there before, and I think it's still a net positive, even if it's maybe not.
Oh, absolutely
not as good as it could be.
I mean, for all the people that are like hating on, the real deep. Terminally online Disney fans, right? That we all are, but the people that are hating that in this crowd, like if you constantly keep hating new things that Disney tries, then Disney's not going to try anything new unless it's like a banger. And like, we all complain that Disney needs to stop making e-tickets. They need to make some B's and C's to kind of flesh out the parks. This is what that is. This is like a C-ticket equivalent of a live show. Like take it, enjoy it. And if you don't like it, just don't go see it. Then that's it.
And if enough people do that in 2 to 3 years, it'll change, and maybe it'll change anyway when Villains Land opens anyway. But we'll find out. But for at least for a while, it's some new offerings, and I'm sure it'll.
I'll take it.
Yep, exactly. As I've been trying to say, on the flip side, it does seem like the Little Mermaid: A Musical Adventure is receiving very good reviews. Seems like basically all the changes they made to it just looks fresh. It looks new. It looks they've added some cool like action scenes between Eric and Ursula and stuff like that. And it just seems like they plussed it. Like they did a really good job with this. So kudos to the team with that. And that does seem like a more of the Broadway style show with the full cast and puppets and stuff like that. So that one seems like, it's kind of interesting. Everyone's initially was kind of like, why are they just like doing a new version of the same kind of show? Why don't they put a different show in there? But it seems like they refreshed it, and there's probably a lot of people that haven't seen the original and will enjoy this one. So,
the only complaints I've seen about this are people that saw a picture of the queue and saw like the empty ceilings. I guess there was I didn't remember this, but there used to be like fishnets that kind of like obscured like just the regular old black ceiling, with, like utilities and stuff in there. Now it's not there, and they were like, Disney's cheaping it out. I'm like, they just spend tons of money to like redo this whole show. What are we doing here? So, other than that, everybody's said that they knocked the ball out of the park with this one. Now, my only question is you spent all this money on a brand new marquee, a brand new staff, et cetera, et cetera. how is this show going to live through the eventual Animation Courtyard redo at that point? So once you cross that threshold into Animation Courtyard to get here, that's kind of entering a gateway. Is this going to change? Are they going to have a new entrance, or how? I'm curious to see how they blend this in the next 5 years. Whenever.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they're just not even thinking that far down, because it's probably not going to get touched until at least 5 years from now, right?
It's true.
So, I mean, that's still a good run for not every show even lasts 5 years.
Absolutely, so. Yeah. I'm just curious about. I always think about the next step, so that's the only thing. As far as my trip, I can't wait to see both of these. I don't know if we'll see them multiple times, but definitely the first day we're in this park, we're hitting up these two shows.
Good.
In my opinion.
So interested to hear your take.
Yep.
Other new things that kicked off is the official start of Coolkid Summer has started. So that has elements in all the parks, whether it's, there's like a dance party with Stitch and Magic Kingdom and stuff going on in Storybook Circus and stuff like that. But one of the biggest kind of things was that Communicore Hall has been taken over by Goofy, now called Goofy Core. And it's full of bright colors and things on the floor, and Goofy and other characters are having fun with kids and playing games and Limbo and stuff like that. And everybody's up in arms and angry and saying this is so beneath Disney and all that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know what people want.
No, I mean, I saw this immediately. I thought this was awesome, right? Yeah. Like, the parks need things for like little kids to just like, I mean, my kids are just slightly too old for this right now. My youngest is 7, and that's probably about a year or two older than the target audience for this, because this is basically kindergarten and like younger, essentially, right? Because it's got all like the parachute games and kind of twirling, basically like Disney Junior's was it Dance Party? Dance Party, right? Yeah. And that's my only disappointment, is that my kids are a little bit too old to be dancing with Goofy. But imagine parents with a 4 or 5-year-old and they're running around with like Goofy, like he's just hanging out there. And normally when you have those characters, there's usually a handler. You're just kind of meeting and greeting and then moving on. He's going to be running around, hanging out and playing. I think that's really great. The memories of that are going to be ridiculous for the young ones that get to do this. And the parents are going to love. They're going to be like disappointed when they come back in 2 years when it's not there anymore. They want to replicate it for like, even a younger child that wasn't able to do it. So there's people hating this out there that, this is terrible. I'm like, first of all, if you're hating on this, you're not cool. So you're not going to be a cool kid. And you're also not a kid either. So you're not the target audience. Lay off. And I just get the feeling that anybody that's complaining about this is probably somebody that doesn't have kids themselves. So they just don't understand. So I think everybody should lay off, take it for what it is. It's a pretty cool offering in Communicore. I think
it's just a fun setting, and it's a temporary thing they're doing as a bonus for the summer. Like if this was some big permanent thing, like okay, that maybe they chimped out a little bit, but as like a fun summer thing, I think it's great. And like you said, the memories, it reminds me of one time when my kids were younger, the older two were kind of like 7 and 4 or something like that, and we were in the boneyard in Animal Kingdom, and Pluto came over there and like went to my kids and were like, and I guess the handler would ever explain, like Pluto wants them to go on a bone hunt with him, and they went all around the boneyard together. That's like awesome. Looking for bones and stuff. So this reminds me of like when you're talking about memories, like I'm sure a lot of kids like remember when I was like playing Limbo with Goofy and stuff like that. And so I just think it's fun.
I mean, even if this was permanent in Communicore Hall, if you got a chance, no matter where you are, to play with Goofy for like a half hour, the lines would be out the door if this was like a permanent offering that you can line up to do this. I mean, like if I had a kindergartner or younger and there was an opportunity to play with like Mickey Mouse, Goofy, or whatever they did, like we're doing this. That's just in videotaping the whole thing, like and taking pictures. So there's other offerings on this. I'm only worried now, not worried, but like I'm thinking to myself, okay, I want to do all the Coolkid summer stuff with my kids, but it seems like it's trending towards the younger kids, which is okay, which is one less thing I have to like, make sure I have to do this type of thing. I'm still looking forward to seeing the characters at my hotel, which I think is going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, there's that. And then I have seen some photos now of like when you go for early entry, the characters are out and they kind of seem to just be kind of around and mingling and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was one thing they've added, is that during that early entry half hour, characters are out, and I saw some video of that. And like,
Are they out in the lands or on like the main hub? Let's say
so the one I saw was like at Epcot, and it was kind of like in that entrance, like near Spaceship Earth and stuff like that. So they're kind of like they were kind of helping like welcome you to the park and stuff like that. So.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yep. So I don't know. We'll be down there in August. I'm with my youngest, who's 10. She seems interested in checking out the Stitch dance party. She likes Stitch and stuff like that. So we'll probably do that. And it seems like there's like magicians and stuff going on in Big Top. So there's some stuff seems maybe for slightly older, but yeah, I do think a lot of it is more for like what Disney actually calls kids, right? Under 10.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yes, that's true. We got to remember that.
Last thing I had, and we don't have to delve too deep into this because we're not big into the cruise line, but I don't recall a lot of discounts happening for Disney Cruise Line, and they're advertising that now for, I believe it's for DVC members and Disney Visa card holders. There's discounts on August and September sailings on the Wish for about 30% off plus a $250 onboard credit.
That is nuts, by the way.
So, I mean, the Wish is still very expensive, so even 30% off that is still going to be kind of expensive. But it kind of just made me think, especially with more ships coming on, have they kind of reached their ceiling where maybe, they can't fill all these ships at the high prices and stuff like that? Will we see more discounts maybe on some of the older ships, especially maybe we'll start seeing a little bit more. So I don't know. It's just something to kind of keep an eye out. And it did kind of, I know Matt talked a little bit about this on his podcast. He's like, well, it's hard to like fly down just to do like a 4-day cruise or something like that. But I'm wondering if you could mix it with doing like 3 to 4 days at Universal, go to Epic, and then get your Disney fix by doing the cruise out of Port Canaveral or something like that.
I mean, Disney would always be smart if they package Disney World in a cruise, right? Like, I think Disney is several floors above desperate to try to start putting these things together because they're still filling the parks, they're still filling the cruises, right? What I find interesting, I don't think it's like it's one thing. I think there's pressure from other companies that are bringing their level of entertainment and quality up to the Disney standard. Like you've talked about this before in the past, and the price is starting to match that too. I think it's, people just doing different things. So I think it's a collection of different things that they're offering this. So I think this might be like, okay, let's try 30% off. How close to full can we get? This is bring people.
Yeah. And maybe it's just the timing wise, and people like August, September is kind of peak hurricane season and stuff like that. So maybe they're just the ones where it's a little bit more challenged to fill them, and they want to maybe entice some people that have been on the fence about booking one, thinking they're too expensive, and say like, hey, we can do that weekend if we can afford this. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting because you don't see sales for DCL very often.
No, for sure. Is that really all the news that we have over the last couple of weeks?
Well, I tried to like get not the smallest stuff, but
I mean, those are the major ones, like Hollywood Studios and the Parade, right? So
exactly.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do some construction updates. I'm pretty sure I missed a bunch of stuff, but I think I got a lot of it. So Magic Kingdom's queued up with a whole bunch of different updates, some small, some interesting. These are in no order of interesting or important, so it's just kind of like randomly shuffled up here. What I found really interesting was the cool ship in Tomorrowland has been demoed. Yeah. And it wasn't like they took it down to like fix it. Like it's gone.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's funny how the storyline changed. At first it was like, oh, the like construction walls out, they're going to be doing a refurb to it. And then like the next day it was like, it's just gone. Like it's like
they
totally
ripped up
demoed.
the concrete,
there's
utilities being fixed there. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, it always looked cool, but like it doesn't match any of the aesthetic anymore of Tomorrowland, which gets me excited. I know Len Testa on the WDW Magic forums was sad to see it go because it's one of the favorite things Jim Schul has ever designed, and so he liked that quite a bit. But it kind of gets me excited to see where Tomorrowland might go because I suspect this might be the next land that gets a nice refurbishment in 5 to 10 years, whenever it's up for that. So I'm kind of curious what.
There's no even like rumblings of what's replaced. No. I mean, I'm assuming it's just going to be a differently themed kiosk or something, but we have no idea.
Is it even going to be?
I know it might not be that. It could be, who knows?
Might be some more benches and tables. I don't know.
DVC sales center, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's an underground lounge for the stairwell going downstairs. The next one is the Emporium has had some more refurb updates. The register setup is there. People are still complaining about the floors. I think it looks just like any other retail environment.
I think it'll look. I mean, some areas looked empty because they haven't fully stocked. I think once it's all together and there's people in there, it'll look fine. Yeah.
I don't get what the people are think about. Permits have gone up for the construction trailers for Rivers of America. This was a couple of weeks ago. And ISIS and Len Testa's podcast that came out on June 2nd on Monday, he mentioned that there's probably not going to be any notice for when Tom Sawyer's Island gets down. So not that it's imminent, but like all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh, it's closing next week. Get your memories in.
Okay.
I heard that. I don't know how true that is, but I suspect that they don't want people like really planning any crazy things over in the island, right? You could just see like a bunch of like Disney nerds having like a picnic out there for like 10 hours straight, and like, didn't want people get crazy.
I'm just worried about on like the last day, like they just refuse to get on the raft to leave.
Gosh, I could see that happening, and that's just going to be hilarious to watch. Astro Orbiter, the rebuild is starting.
Yep.
I think the last update was he had some new paint colors. It was all kind of going silver or grayish. So that's being put back together.
Yeah, I saw they put the planets. I think we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that update's there. We saw via Mickey Views, the final track was going in place at Big Thunder Mountain. So that's kind of cool. So now people are speculating how long it's going to take to open up, but they've got a lot of thematic stuff. It's basically a brand new roller coaster. So they have to do all the ride testing.
Yeah, they've started to do the envelope testing and stuff too.
Testing, I was about to say, yep.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to go there. Big here. We've talked about this for the last year. One of the biggest, mile markers for the Rivers of America and Villains Land is the laydown yards, and those started to being cleared outside of Magic Kingdom. That's where they're going to start bringing in materials and start doing all the different waterway work that they have permitted, and it's ready to go. That needs to be done before they start draining Rivers of America and start doing some other things. Maybe they could do them simultaneously. I don't know, but I think work needs to start on all the new canals and waterways and adjustments that they have there. So anyway, things are starting. I haven't seen any major equipment out there. It's just land clearing at this point. So we'll see where it goes. Haunted Mansion, there's new paving stones in front. I thought that was kind of a funny little update, but they had some walls up there, and now it's all gone. It looks very nice. Big Thunder envelope testing. We were talking about that. And for the Pirates Lounge, they extended the construction walls outside the exterior, so I think that's getting close to get ready to go. Unfortunately, probably not in that time for my trip down there.
Yeah.
I have the Astro Orbiter here rebuild starting listed twice. I don't know why I did that. But in any case, Animal Kingdom, no real updates in Animal Kingdom other than just the demo is continuing. The berm is being extended. It's, there's some really cool pictures.
Yeah, there's some new photos coming that really show how big the space is and how big that show building for Encanto is going to be. But
again, no major updates. Bio Reconstruct from like a week or two ago has some really good shots, overhead shots, and it's just still clearing. Up at Epcot, there's new themed pavement at Mexico. I always like talking about pavement for some reason. So Test Track has had like a bunch of little things, right? They're wrapping up a lot of the stuff in the front of the building. The logo has kind of been installed. It's all still wrapped up, so people are speculating what's underneath. A lot of the lighting is going on. You kind of see some lighting indoors and around the queue entrance. I thought I had read this, but I wasn't sure if it's true that some people have seen riders on vehicles going through there. Did you see that too?
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. The cars have definitely been testing, but I haven't seen anything about riders on it.
I could have sworn somebody said that they saw riders on vehicles. I can't confirm that, but I wanted to kind of bring it up. So keep your eyes open for that. That might be happening at this point. So that's kind of cool. Moving on to Hollywood Studios. I don't know why this was just kind of a funny COVID thing, but the Keystone Clothiers, the facade is finally repaired. It looks great. It only took 4 or 5 years to finally do. And of course, obviously this is an update. I only put this in here for posterity, but the Villains mural was being put up while we were not recording and we're doing construction updates, but obviously it's open, so it has to be done by now, but that was going on for the last 2 weeks. In the hotel section, Lakeshore Lodge, I haven't been paying attention to it, and somebody just posted some pictures after like a couple weeks, and it looks like the whole thing's built already.
It's
like
huge.
The whole shell.
Yeah.
So all the floors have been done, the roof is going in, there's A-frames being delivered, so everything is kind of shelled out, and they're going to start putting.
I think the A-frames are for the cabin things that'll be along the shore. Yep.
So a lot of stuff is moving over there. It seems to be moving much faster than the new Poly Tower, but I think that's because you have more room to do construction faster over there, type of thing. But that's it. That's the construction updates. I think we're going to start getting hot and heavy with the Rivers of America, probably starting in the fall. I'm really curious to see how fast that picks up. But that's just a prediction at this point. All right, so Phil, you wanted to bring up this topic, and we were talking about this right before we started recording.
Yep.
Lilo and Stitch made a couple bucks last weekend.
Yeah.
We're at what, $600 and something million?
Yeah, so
I didn't look at it.
The last I saw was 611 million globally, which puts it on pace, based on how other, movies have done of late, tracking to 1.15 billion over its entire run. In the first weekend, it made more than Snow White live action did its entire run, and it has also passed how much the original made. So it is definitely popular. People are really into it. I see a lot of positive takes. I do see some negative takes about it, but it seems like a lot of the negative takes I've seen are like, oh, I haven't seen it yet, but I don't think I will because of XYZ. It's like, well, if you actually see it, it's not exactly how you think it is, and like that sort of thing. But yeah.
What did we had our predictions, right? We always do Disney predictions for box office for the year at the beginning of the year. Are you bringing it up?
Yeah, I'm going to try to.
I meant to do this. So Wheezy on Discord had predicted like $800 and something million. I want to say, and you're going to probably prove me wrong, that it's either going to do 800 million or it's going to be over $1 billion. I think.
Yep.
Like I think I rated this. I just remember it being like, this might be like the sneaky most popular movie of the year.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I'm just remembering that.
So you were definitely more positive about it. You said it would be 750 million, which it's probably easily going to pass that
next week.
I said only 500 million. It's already past that. I think because I knew it would be popular here. I didn't know how popular it'd be internationally, but it seems to be doing quite well internationally as well too. So yeah, I think we way undersold it, and I think at this point, if it doesn't crack $1 billion, it'll be a little bit of a surprise. So.
Yeah, I think that the thing is, like, I just remember talking about, like, this has a chance to going big, and I kind of hedged my bet on this one. This is so popular. Like, my daughter started getting into Lilo and Stitch. Like, I think she started seeing advertisements for the movie, so she's been watching all the old movie and all the cartoons and stuff like that. That Stitch. I need to get her. I'm going to take this moment to complain about Magic Bands for a second, Phil. All right. So if you don't care about Magic Bands, skip like 2 minutes here because I'm going on a rant. The selection of Magic Bands available both in Shop Disney and in the pre-purchase or loading up to your vacation are very, very poor. I am very angry that I need to get my mother a Magic Band and I need to get my daughter a Magic Band. My daughter lost her Magic Band last time we were there. We never replaced it. And there is nothing. There is basically all the trash Magic Band Pluses that they don't sell or available at the discount that you can get for your pre-arrival order. And then I'm like, okay, I'll spend an extra $10 to get one on Shop Disney, which is the only other place that you can get it other than eBay, which I'm not going to buy Magic Bands off eBay. And there are no good selections at all. It's like, what is Disney doing here? Like, do they not want to? Do people just not buy Magic Bands unless they're there?
I'm guessing that's what, because I know last time we were there was a pretty good selection in the parks and at Disney Springs and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess people are only getting it when they're there versus beforehand.
It's a Magic Band Plus. I want to have it ready to go because you can't use it when you buy it. Like, you have to wait a day and charge it up overnight, that sort of thing. So I'm very disappointed. And then I'm like, okay, I totally forgot that my daughter was getting into Stitch. I went to go find a Stitch Magic Band. It's sold out. Like, how do you sell out like a massive new movie's Magic Band online? It's just like beyond me. So Disney, if you're listening, and you're definitely not listening, stock up on your Magic Bands. Like, I've been checking every day, and the selection just hasn't changed. There has to be something where you have to reshuffle what you can buy online, and you can't buy the old Magic Bands either. The Magic Band, was it 2s, MB2s, right? Those aren't available anymore, so you have to get Magic Band Pluses, which I want. I will spend money. Disney, give me options. I will give you more money. I don't want to have to show up on our first day where everybody's wearing their Magic Bands when we get on property, and my youngest daughter doesn't have one. And I also don't want to rush to whatever selection they have at Art of Animations
to get something,
and spend $45 on that. So come on, Disney, do better. And we'll see. Actually, Phil, you can probably see this got a little bit in the back of my camera. You see the little blue over here. And if you're watching this, it's going to be cut off, so you can't see it either. But I went on Etsy and I bought a 6 Magic Band holder. I'll show. I don't want to get up. Go get it while we're recording. I forgot to do that. But I got a Magic Band holder. This is 3D printed by somebody on Etsy. I spent like 20 something bucks on it, And it basically, there's a space where you can squeeze in the charger for the Magic Band and kind of put the USB cable behind it. You can wrap around the band, and it charges on a stand. So you can have all 6 of my Magic Bands that in my party are going to be in one spot. I'm going to buy a USB thing where I can get like 3 or 6 USBs into one and charge it. It looks really cool. It's like Haunted Mansion icon on the side and the castle on the side. It looks really cool. So
nice.
I'll let you know if that actually works or it gets knocked over constantly when I'm in the hotel. But for $20, I figured I'd give it a shot. Okay, that's my rant for Magic Bands, because it reminded me, because I was looking for Lilo's.
No, it's a good one.
Buy one. So
yeah,
you had a non-spoiler review.
Yeah, so like
I
think I am not subtle in my general disdain for the live action remakes.
Disdain, that is a harsh word, Phil.
Or just not
disliked, unexcitedness about it. Okay.
Not a fan of them. Wish they weren't doing them. But I have to say we enjoyed this one. I think it was different. They changed up enough that it kind of felt fresh, and I think the fact that it's set in like kind of contemporary times probably helps a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of the changes some people weren't happy with, but overall I thought they did a good job, especially with the budget they had. I actually thought
it's like $100 million.
Yeah, it was only $100 million. Yeah. So they are making some good profit on this. I thought the dynamic between the humans was actually better and like kind of more convincing or emotional or whatever you want to say than in the live action. I do think for the most part, outside of Stitch, the aliens were handled better in the cartoon version, animated version. But overall, I thought it was good. It's absolutely worth a watch if you're on the fence, if one of your kids really wants to see it, but you're like, I don't know about going to the theater. I would do it. I definitely would say once it's out on Disney Plus, give it a watch.
Yeah, I definitely want to see this in the theater. We just had to find some weekend time to do it. We've been packed with baseball tournaments and soccer tournaments and stuff like that. So I love I don't love all the live action remakes. I'm interested in all of them because I like Disney content. I like different takes. And this one gets me interested to see it. Like other ones I can wait till they come on Disney Plus. This one I think is kind of movie theater worthy. So I'm looking forward to that. Did you have any other takes?
No, just I thought. Well, the one thing I do think they were really creative with some of their marketing for this, and I think it got noticed, and I think that helped a lot. Even just like in the theaters, there's so many options for like popcorn buckets and sippers and stuff like that. I think even behind me, I don't know if you see, we got one of the Stitch popcorn buckets and stuff like that. So I don't know, it was all over the place. I heard different numbers and stuff, but apparently last year from Lilo and Stitch merchandise, Disney made $2.4 billion just from merch. So it's like one of the top 10 like IP for marketing things like just in the world. It's just that's how popular Stitch is and stuff like that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens like from it now with how well it's doing. Do they try to revive the attraction at Walt Disney World? Are there going to be sequels and stuff like that? So I don't know. It seemed to be doing really well, and it's a character that Disney knows does well merchandise-wise.
Oh, that there's going to be massive properties that are going to be fueled into the future of Walt Disney World. There's going to be Stitch. I mean, like if the Stitch merch is that out of control, and then the movie just blows everything out of the water with sales, Stitch is coming back to Tomorrowland or something.
Yeah.
Inside Out 2, because of their success, Inside Out characters are coming to the parks in some way. Moana still needs a presence in Disney World outside of Journey of Water.
Yeah.
Disney is, I suspect, once Cars Land and Villains Land, these are the properties that are coming to the parks at some point that it's just Disney loves money, and they're going to put IP that makes tons of money for them in the parks. I'm really curious to see if there's a Monsters revival once that land is built and going, because apparently Monsters merch is still extremely popular too as well. So we'll see. All right, so on to the next update. I'm like 50 days out for my trip. It is now the beginning of June, and I'm going at the end of July. It doesn't feel like it's June yet, but here we are. I have a countdown thing on my app on my phone that has a nice little icon on my desktop. And so 10 days ago, I had my ADR day. And not that I was too nervous, but everything went flawlessly. So this is basically what I'm going to give the quick rundown. Where I upgraded to the Disney dining plan. We're going with that. Our first day there, we're not going to utilize any credits. We are banking one extra credit. We got on Wednesday, we've got a brunch at Whispering Canyon. We've got Thursday, we've got a dinner reservation at St. Angelo Inn. Friday, we're going to Yak and Yeti. On the next day, we're doing Chefs de France in Epcot, Ohana breakfast, Cinderella's roll table on Monday, and then Topolino's dinner on our second to last day. And we're actually doing Boma for breakfast on our last day there, but we're paying cash for that. And I didn't have to struggle for any of these things. Everything came pretty easy. I was only really worried about Cinderella's royal table and Topolino's, and I got a 6:00 reservation for CRT. Very happy with that. I went back like 8 hours later, and all those times were still available.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
I wasn't too worried about. I'm like, I didn't have to wake up at 5:55 in the morning to kind of do all this stuff. And then we also had we were looking to book 2 different touring experiences: the nighttime safari and the Rhino experience at Animal Kingdom. And I booked the Rhino experience, and I realized I totally did not remember that I could book this out longer than 60 days. So there were some times that were not available anymore, but we did get Rhinos on one of the days that we wanted to do it. So we did that. So we're doing Yak and Yeti and Rhinos kind of simultaneously, because Rhinos is at 11, and then we have a 1 o'clock appointment at reservation at Yak and Yeti. So we're going to do that. The nighttime safari, I totally forgot that this is an $80 experience. And when I typed in 6 people, $80, it was like, we need $400 from you, sir, on a credit card. I'm like, I don't think we need to do this anymore. So we're only doing the Rhinos as a paid thing. Wife and I did nighttime safari last time. We loved it, but I'm thinking now with the kids late at night and the costs kind of all tied in, it's just too much to get over there.
Yeah.
We're missing a nighttime spectacular. And frankly, I think the kids would like it, but then get bored immediately, because really all you're seeing is sleeping giraffes and zebras on the floor. But it's a great experience. I just don't think it was a
no. I think that makes sense, especially when you have to go out of your way just to get there, and you're already doing the Rhino one and stuff too. You don't want to do too many things in one trip. So
the moral of the story is, I meant to check this before the show, and I forgot to do this completely. But I wanted to see what the availability was for Cinderella's royal table on the 28th to see if there's still time here. And I'm going to look at it as we get to the next one. But that's my ADR update. It was like no sweat. Everything was there that I wanted to. And I mean, the way we play, I hate that we have timed things every single day.
Yeah.
But I'm talking off my mic as I try to type things, so somebody's gonna yell at me. I want to be able to like shuffle these around. Like, I want to be able to cancel it and change times. We want to do, let's say, like, for example, our second full day there is St. Angelo Inn, and our second to last night was Topolino's. But like, what if we decide, hey, let's do Topolino's tonight? I want to be able to change things around. So I hate being tied down with all this, but I guess that's the nature of all these ADRs. So it's what it is. But I'd be curious to see if we do all of these things on what I booked them now. So that'll be part of the trip report.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see. Oh, and one other thing. Outside of Cinderella's royal table and Boma for breakfast, every single restaurant that we picked, we've never done before.
Oh, okay.
So we're infusing brand new experiences, which I'm really excited about. And if you recall, we spent months watching old and new restaurants and picking things out. And looks like all the new ones won. So I'm kind of happy about that.
Good.
So I'm happy. I'm excited. So the next thing is our DBC engagement from, was this the last one that we did?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. So why don't you set it up, Phil?
Yeah. So this was from like 3 weeks ago, after I had seen the D23 on the road with the Goofy movie, and kind of enjoyed the experience, where it was kind of like, Rocky Horror Picture Show, where they had interactive elements and stuff like that. So I said, the question was, what Disney film, you could pick animated, live action, whatever you want, would you like to see an on the road experience with? So something that's organized, and you show up with a whole bunch of Disney fans of the movie, and they have some interactive elements and that sort of thing. So did you want to do the Community while you try to think of some things, Jason? Or
I had one in my mind, and I should have written down, because I had the whole thing set up, ready to go. I don't like putting these in here, so I can give you a heads up on how to react. I like to surprise you. So why don't you go first? I'm going to try to remember.
Yeah, so the first ones that came to, like, what I think worked with a Goofy movie, or could even work with Lilo and Stitch, is they're not like the top tier, like super most popular ones ever. Like, I don't think it works that well if it's Beauty and the Beast or Little Mermaid or something like that. So ones that came to mind were from the animated side, Atlantis and The Emperor's New Groove, I thought would be fun. I also thought, I like the movie, and I feel like it kind of got lost in the shuffle, but something that brought more attention to Tomorrowland, I think would be
Yeah.
an interesting one.
God, I haven't seen that since that was new. I
Yeah.
got to rewatch that.
And then the other thing that I didn't know how people would react if they did like a re-release of the original trilogy of Star Wars and set it up like that with whole people going and
Ooh.
interacting and stuff like that.
That could be really good because I was thinking about that, but you have to like make sure people don't just everybody comes in with like Jedi robes and lightsabers and start like just hitting each other with it. Like you could definitely do something really cool, but it would have to be like highly controlled. And I don't think you could do that in a movie theater. Like it has to be somebody at local has to do it. And everybody has to be in on it. And then it slowly grows from there. Like, these are the things you do during these certain times. Not like everybody
kind of what's happened with the Rocky Horror Picture. Yeah,
exactly. Like, it's gotta be that. Some of the things that I was thinking about was like, I can't think of, when I think Disney movies, I like, part of me always wishes like the Frozen sing along show, like people actually sung along with some of these songs. Cause I like a good musical. I like singing along. Like our family belts out some of these songs when we're like, in the car or at home, that type of thing. So I was trying to think like, is there like a movie that you can like get everybody singing together? And without it being kind of like just princessy kind of music and stuff like that. So one of my all-time favorite animated movies is The Lion King. Mm-hmm. And I would love to see kind of like, again, Lion King's on Broadway. Lion King's a big time show. It just had Mufasa just came out that just was highly successful. So I don't think this could actually happen because it's just too popular of a movie. And you're kind of right on the right track. I didn't really consider that. It's like, building like a deep cut type of thing, so it's kind of got that like low key popularity to it like that. But I would love to have like a Lion King thing where you can like really sing the soundtrack, and I would love to be kind of like just part of like just singing the music and kind of belting that stuff out. That's the stuff that kind of makes me happy when I watch these movies. But my answer is not as interesting as yours for sure. I mean, like other deep cuts that I movies I kind of like, but I haven't seen in a while. That are just movies like Rocket Man or Rocketeer.
Rocketeer, yeah.
That I really liked that when I was a teenager. I thought that was really cool. Another movie that I haven't seen in God knows how long, and I don't even remember most of it, but like The Sword and the Stone is the type of movie that can be like is like really. What's the term for not indie, but like it's a cult classic for some people. I think those movies are cool, but like let's go to some of the other people in the community that probably that have better ideas than me. So you want to take it off?
Sure.
First?
Yeah. So Teal Madden, he mentioned that they've just been rewatching the Pirates of the Caribbean movies with his son, and he thought that could be really fun to have a whole theater experience with everybody watching that. I think just getting excited when the music starts kicking in and stuff like that. So specifically the fun one obviously could re-release and have new fun popcorn buckets and stuff like that, and have a lot of different photo ops from out of there and stuff. So I think that would be good. He also said he was shocked that the movie is already 20 years old, the first one. And then so he's saying maybe for the 25th anniversary, they could organize something like that for Pirates of the Caribbean. Mom of Six suggested having a Mary Poppins D23 film event, so fans could show up dressed in like kind of costumes that fit early turn of the century.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Obviously could potentially have some live musical performance, or else just sing along with the songs, and photo ops that mimic the whole Cherry Tree Lane. And they could have special food items like British scones and tea and stuff like that. And the other idea that she had, though, but would only be could only work around Christmas time, was to do a Muppets Christmas Carol as an event movie.
Oh yeah, that would work.
Stuff, so that could be fun too.
I just came up with another idea. I'm going to interrupt you here. I would love. How about this? Instead of a movie, how about it's the Disney afternoon cartoons from the 90s?
Okay, yeah,
and they just kind of wherever you go, they pick. I don't know, some DuckTales, some Gummy Bears, something like that, where you play one episode of each one. It's a different episode each time, but you go crazy for all like the theme songs and stuff like that.
So it's like you're coming home from school that afternoon, you're getting to see your block of shows, and they can have all the snacks and candy and sodas they had from the 80s and stuff like that.
And it'd be awesome if they could show like old school commercials too.
Oh yeah,
watching that'd be the best. But that's the type of thing. I think we all talk about the nostalgia when it comes to some of these things, right? I think I like that one the best.
Two more from the community. Lumpy said Jungle Book seems like a no-brainer. Who doesn't love to sing along to Bare Necessities? Although they just did the live action remake of that one, so I don't know if that would.
I mean, that's old too. I mean, like,
Yeah.
all right, I got to look this up. When did the live action Jungle Cruise come out? I'm
Oh,
gonna look it up right
the
now.
Jungle Book, the live action Jungle Book. That was.
Was it
Jungle Book?
Yeah.
And then while you're looking that up, A Music Life from Me said that for him, it's an easy answer. Would want to see Newsies. Obviously, any sort of Broadway-ish type show like that. They've done some recordings of live productions and stuff is always great. So he would he'd like to hear a full theater singing along to Seize the Day.
It's almost 10 years old at this point, Phil.
For the remake already? Wow.
Yeah, 2016 is when it first came out. All right, so just to kind of tie back to Cinderella's Royal Table. So I looked, right, for my dates of my trip. So if you wanted to book Cinderella's Royal Table about like a week and a half outside your 60-day mark, so just on the day that I booked it, which is I think was the 28th.
Yeah,
I could get dinner. This one was kind of sold out, so I could get dinner at 4:00 and then everything after 8:45. Right, so that's generally what happens. Like all the dinner things,
prime times go. Yeah,
but lunch 11:00, 11:20, 2:20, and 2:35. Where if you're gonna do like a lunch there, that's not too bad either. And there's still 9:00 breakfast hours for this. However, if you look at all the surrounding days, and this is why I love the new Disney ADR website. You actually pick a range and it just shows everything, and you get to pick one. Whereas before you had to like keep pressing buttons and it was aggravating. So I'm seeing like the Wednesday, the 23rd, there's a 5:55 reservation. The Thursday, there's a 7:00 reservation. There's a couple like 4:00 and 7:00 on the next day. More 4s and 8s, right? Those are usually the least popular times. But if you wanted to go during that time, there's like the Wednesday or second to last day there. There's a couple 7:00 reservations. A 7:25 reservation for Cinderella's Royal Table, 10 days after the 60-day mark is usually like unheard of, like back in the day, right? And so like you're either eating when the park is closing, or you're not, or like you just had lunch and you have to go to dinner now, type of thing. So, plenty of spaces open for this, which kind of surprised me. I'm gonna look up Topolino's real quick.
Okay.
And before I do that, why don't you shout out to Nick?
So next week's DBC engagement. One other news item which we didn't kind of focus on because there wasn't really news, but it's something that got people talking, is that they've showed more inside and kind of around the drinks and stuff like that. Basically, media got a little preview of Geo 82, the new lounge coming to Epcot behind Spaceship Earth. And they're also, they're continuing to work on the Beacon Barrel and stuff like that. So the DBC engagement question is, what themed lounge would you next like to see added at Walt Disney World? Could be either in a park or at a resort. And the only kind of caveat is you can't say the Haunted Mansion, because I think everybody would like to see a Haunted Mansion lounge.
Well, I mean, that's funny you say that, because I was going to bring up that my daughters have just randomly started watching the Disney Plus episode where they're going over the Disney Treasure and like how they did all the rehearsals and whatever. And my youngest daughter spent 30 minutes talking to me about the Haunted Mansion bar that they were setting up. And like, she doesn't know what a bar is, right? But like, this is great. She loved it. And we watched the episode. So like, that's the top of everybody's mind. That would be my answer, but now I can't use it. So also go back to the ADRs. I just pulled up Topolino. Topolino's is wide open throughout the whole 8. You could get a 5:00, a 6:00, and a 7:00 reservation almost every.
Is there any breakfast though? Because I know breakfast is the one with the characters, and that's usually what goes the quickest there.
That's all gone.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's gone.
Yeah. Okay.
But also, granted, everything that I'm putting out there is for a party of 6.
Oh, yeah,
right?
True.
So let me tack on party of 2 for Topolino's, and breakfasts are wide open for party of 2.
Oh wow!
Right. So Wednesday the 23rd, you've got a 7, a 7:50, an 8:30.
Wow.
A bunch of 8s, a 9, and 11. Every day for that whole week. For party of 2, you have plenty of. You're not getting like your maybe 8 or 9 o'clocks, but
still,
like you're getting super early. There's like Friday. There's a bunch of 7s at 8:50, a 10, 11:10, and 11:20 wide open. There's been times where I could not find any openings, and I'm a great refresher. I've used all the different tools to find like all the APIs to pull things out and stuff like that. I've never been able to find breakfast open ever.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna go 4, party of 4, same time period, last week of July. And somehow there's even more options for parties of 4.
Wow.
Like for example, breakfast, July 26th is a Saturday morning. There are, I can't even count this much. There's 15 available slots on a Saturday morning on July 26th. So all right, I got to go back then to Cinnaro's Royal Table. I'm doing this live. This is great. This is what we're doing. I should have been prepared for this, but I'm not. It's fine. It's fine. Absolutely fine. So we're going to do Cinnaro's Royal Table the 23rd to the 30th. And I'm going to do a party of 4 at this point. So my dinners, this is crazy. So dinners, every day I've got 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock offerings every single day that I'm there. I guess my party is 6. It's tougher to fit 6, right? So if you want to book Cinnaro's Royal Table right now, you could have all the primo slots for dinner.
Wow.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I screwed that up. It didn't change my hotel for whatever reason, or restaurant. I'm still looking at Topolino's. This is terrible. Come on, Disney. Let me refresh this page. This is great podcasting, by the way, Phil. Play-by-play of using Disney's website. Party of 2, July 23rd to the 30th. Here we go. What's available? Okay, so dinners, I've got $650. There's some dinners that are not available. I had more availability for parties of 6s than I have party of 4. But there is a 6 o'clock reservation sitting around there. So there you go. That being said, we're done. All right. If you have ADRs and you're going in the summer, that's the time to book all your stuff because you can get whatever you want.
Unless you want GO82,
That's what I was going to say. I've been checking GO82 every day, and I haven't had it. I want to see if I'm going to try to do like a walk-up waitlisting thing and see if I can sneak in there.
One thing I have found, and I'm wondering about too, is it seems like there's more availability for party of 4 than for 2.
Yep.
So when we're going, if I can't get one at a good time for 2, I might do 4, and then either see if anybody wants to join us or just say, sorry, our friends couldn't make it or whatever.
Yeah, womp womp, I guess. I'm looking for a party of 4 on Cinnaro's Royal Table, and there's nothing's changing. Like I think party of 6 had more availability than a party of 4. How about that?
Wow.
So find 2 friends if you're a family of 4. Or just lie. I don't know. Yeah. All right. That being said, we got DVC engagement for next week. GO82, what is your lounge of choice? I think we're done. We're done with this week, right? I didn't forget anything?
Nope. We got to the hour mark. We're all good.
We're perfect. Yes. That being said, everybody, thank you for watching, listening. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment on whatever platform that you're watching us. We would truly appreciate that. And for the summer, maybe you guys can share this with somebody that's never listened to with us before. Maybe we can help grow the family that way. In any case, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.